Monday, it's going to be drawing basics and drawing comics at 9 p.m. And Tuesday, it's going to be drawing basics at 8. Project stream at 9 p.m. And then Wednesday is going to be drawing basics at 8 and coloring comics at 9. And then it's just going to rotate throughout the week in that order. But you guys, one of the reasons why I'm announcing it before tomorrow, where I'm going to be making other announcements as well. Some good news, I consider this slightly bad because I would like to stream more often. But the good news tomorrow is going to reveal ways that you guys can participate and be part of the stream. There's going to be new kind of content coming up that I'm going to add to the week, actually, to the mix, that I think a lot of you viewers will enjoy. But yeah, make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be announcing it throughout the day. I'm going to be making the announcement through each stream, just in case for those who are just tuning in for a specific stream. So yeah, check back in then, and we'll give you guys a better idea of the schedule then as well. So this is where we were left off last time. Turned out great. I really did enjoy it. That's one of the reasons why I'm revisiting coloring pencils, because I like how it turned out on the paper, and it resembles more of the texture of each panels. Like, there's a bit of graininess to the newspaper print and the way that they were coloring comics back then. That color pencils actually bring out as well, just in the texture of the color pencils themselves. There's a little bit of graininess, so it kind of complements the look, the old school comic book coloring look. I really like that, actually, so I'm coming back today to do more work on that. And it also gives a different result. This is something that I've mentioned previously, but the paper that I'm using, it's not the thickest, and watercolor really does much better on thicker paper, and paper specifically designed for watercolor, which I do have, just hesitant to use because I don't really enjoy drawing on watercolor paper. So if I was to do the panels on them, the lines would come out differently, detail would be different, because because the paper is thicker, and that's really gonna change my line work in a sense. So I'm a little hesitant. I'm gonna play with it off stream just to see what kind of results I get, and then stream it to you guys. But as you could see, even the paper warps after using watercolor, and I don't really like that. I don't like that it does that to the paper. It makes it a little bit difficult on the next page as well, because then it starts to actually seep through to the other side. The more I use it on one side, the other side takes the hit. I'm not really a fan of that. So yeah, I'm actually going to continue to color, and hopefully I can get to inking as well. So I'm going to try to color this one and then go back and ink the rest of these panels to kind of make them look better, because to be honest, I was disappointed. Last night I was taking care of this panel right here, which it did make it look better, slightly better. I'm still not happy with the colors for it. I think I could have done way better as far as my mixing goes. And as far as these panels go, yeah, I'm just not satisfied with the mixing of the reds here. So I'm hoping that with some inking, it's gonna at least make the panels look a little bit better than they actually do right now. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's jump into coloring this panel right here. And we're going to start out with the foreground. Should we do the background first? Let's take a look here. It's safe to actually fold this. No worries about paint. Bring it into your view as well. So I'm gonna stick to how I was doing it before. I'm gonna do background to foreground. I'm gonna start out with the sky. And I really do enjoy the color pencils also because it's like a natural medium. You know, there's no plastic involved. It's not a mechanical pencil. So it's kind of like, it's really changing it up for me. In a sense, I'm so used to using mechanical pencils that it's kind of nice to switch back. And as I mentioned before, it's also great practice to color lightly, or to use the pencil lightly, which carries over into pencil work, which carries over into inking and even brushing as well. So it kind of helps with all those things. You know, you have to make sure that you doing it in layers with color pencils, because unlike either the blue pencil or the regular pencil, erasing color pencils has proven itself to be a challenge. So something I discovered from the previous streams, using white actually helps smoothen out this pencil. So I don't know if you guys can notice it, but there's slight texture to it. And then when I use white, because of the white being slightly waxy, it kind of, instead of making it light, which I thought would be the case, like I thought just like any other color, you just do it over it and it's going to create a lighter tone, but it actually blends the color more together, which I think is interesting. I never really made that connection before. And in this process, you do have to press harder. And I'm revisiting something that I haven't really touched in a really long time, which is a pencil sharpener. I wonder if it's available to just buy white. Like just buy white polycolor pencil. Because I'm definitely going to go through it a lot faster than any other color. And if it's used to like blend things together. Or it could be that I'm just using it a lot more than usually people do with color pencils. I just like the look of it. I think the look of it really resembles old school comics. So it could be that when other people use it, it's occasional because they're satisfied with just using the color without any blending. And it also has to do with the paper as well. And all these things are things you don't have to worry about when you're dealing with digital stuff. So that's the advantage of digital work, but at the same time, I like playing around with that. It's just that if you're looking for speed, if you're looking to save time, digital really does it. To some extent, you know. I guess it's all really subjective, because on one hand, it takes me a lot longer to make certain lines digitally. If you guys are part of the project stream, you must have seen me make a line and undo it several times before I settle for the right one, in a sense. But when it comes to traditional and I sit down and I draw, it's a lot faster. Like I'm more in tune with the pencil than the digital pencil. Okay, we're gonna just make sure there aren't more reds underneath here. Nope, no reds. It's all pretty well organized. And this is a challenging color because it's like a hot pink, and there is no hot pink. I might have to mix colors to do it. So I'm gonna use this and then see what happens when I use red on top of it. Just like a light coat of red. Will it turn hot pink? And the answer is no. It is not. It's just gonna turn red. So let's see if we could just add some pink over that. If that really does anything. No, not really. And this is what I mean, you know? You really gotta know what you're doing with the color pencils, because once it's on, like, having to erase all of that, that's good luck. Yeah, that's really gonna destroy the panel, destroy the work that you were doing on it. But I'm gonna just keep trying to see if, like, maybe pink can overcome the red. Doesn't look like it. It just looks like it's ingraining more of the colors together. Okay, well, lesson learned. Gonna have to stick to hot pink. Moving on to Conan. Gonna skip this one, ladies and gents. Give me a second. Okay, done and done. So now we're gonna move on to this gentleman and his rope. Not gentleman, I'm gonna say a stupid cult member. And now the magic of the white pencil. Blending in the grainy texture. Interesting. It was really obvious for this one, for the purple. There are certain colors that are more soft than others. And a way that they transfer onto the paper, you could tell. Just immediately, even just from like how they feel. The lead feels really pliable and soft. And because of that, it ends up actually becoming more grainy, which is what I think is going to happen with drawing panels on watercolor paper. It's going to grind the pencil, that's for sure. You know, the lead quality is softer than the texture of the paper. In other news, I am pretty peeved about what happened to AOC today. She got arrested by protesting on government property for women's rights. Like, the audacity of that. First of all, that department should get sued immediately because it was a peaceful protest and it was on government property. So whether they were blocking traffic or not, doesn't matter. It's still government property. That's what protesting is. And if you don't like the protest, then address the problem. You know, I think them getting arrested is a violation of the First Amendment. And that department should get sued ASAP. Like, right now. That is not okay. People are supposed to be able to protest. That's just the first constitutional right. And people need to really take action about that. Like, they should not be getting arrested at all whatsoever. And cops are supposed to be protecting the protesters, not arresting them. It's just they're not doing their job. That's a huge violation, and they're just willfully ignoring what their job entails. Just protecting peaceful protesters. I'm just surprised that she wasn't saying that. Like, hey, if you arrest me, your department is going to be an incredible amount of problems. It's just a weird incident, you know, all in all. She got arrested for like 5 minutes, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then went right back for voting, which I don't understand. Like, what happened there? And if she is released that quickly, then there are grounds for all other protesters to be released as well. That means that she didn't really violate anything. I don't know, I'm peeved about it. I think it's wrong. Just people are not recognizing how things are becoming more and more fascist, and we all know where that led in history. Alright, so enough about that. I'm going to move on to doing the skin color, which is a very fine process as well, because it's mixing. There is no pencil specifically for skin color, so I'm going to use this one, and then hope to just add a little bit of red to transform it into like an orange. More of a pinkish orange. Oh, let me try that actually. Let me see what adding pink to this is gonna do. Because I don't want it to be orange. I want it to be more, obviously, I want it to be more like a skin color. Let's see, over here I'm going to start it as the base, and then do the yellow over it to see if maybe that might change things. If we got any followers of AOC who enjoy our politics, tell me how you feel about it. Write in the comments. What are your thoughts on it? If you're frustrated just like me, let's share the frustration together. So that seems like that's pretty much it. Turned out alright. Skin color turned out alright once I added more white. It actually did a little bit of blending that made it look closer to skin color. But I think using the combination of pink and this yellow, this light yellow, really brings better results. It's closer to the skin color than actually using like a red. Alright, so as promised, I am going to move on to inking now. I'm going to ink these other panels that I was complaining about earlier. Oh no, wait a minute, there's still Conan's face. I just noticed it. It's just quick little color in of that. That's the problem with like pencils though, they smear over. But maybe once I bring in the inks, it's gonna bring them out more. Or it's gonna make the skin tone look lighter. So here we go. This is the beautiful pen that I'm using. It's a really great one. You just refill it up and get yourself ink refills. I really like this Bombay Dr. Martens Black India ink. Comes with this little nib that picks up the color, and you could just squeeze it into this this pen right here. It really does a great job. You don't have to throw it out if it dries up. You could just clean up the brush tips because they're nylon. In fact, I'm going to do that real quick right now because it feels pretty gunky. I think this weather is actually contributing to it as well. But yeah, you can quickly, you could wash it and it's right back to being an excellent brush tip. So I'll be right back in just a minute. I'm also actually surprised at how well it retains the ink inside. So when you refill it, it stays there for a while. It doesn't dry up. Like I refilled this months ago. Not like, I don't know, 6 months ago even. It's been a while. So I'm just really surprised that all this time it hasn't actually gotten worse. The quality of the lines are going to be slightly different because it still has some water on there. It's one of the reasons why I have this rag right here, so after washing it, you could just briefly dry it. It's still gonna be different, but better than it was before. Before it was very gunky. I'm going to start out in an area where there's a lot of black, just so that I could test and see where the brush is after the cleaning. Also want to be mindful of not holding it way too close to the tip. I want that to carry over into pencils as well. I think at some points it does call to have the brush tip a lot closer, or holding rather the brush a lot closer. But I want to train myself to do it as little as possible. And I think a lot of it is just fear of losing control over the brush, so you just hold it closer, you hold it tighter to prevent that. I don't think it has anything to do with like being necessary for the process. I think once you get better control over the brush at working at a distance, not holding it all the way at the tip, but somewhere around here, it stops being important. This is also something that's really beneficial about Buscema's line work, is because there's so much variation in his lines. It's an excellent opportunity to practice gaining more control over the brush pen. So that's pretty much what they used back then. Like when I was watching the video, and this is something you could find on YouTube as well, drawing comics the Marvel way. He was doing some demonstrations and he was using just a regular brush to do it. So I'm looking at these really fine lines and it's just a testament to like how much control he has over it. Now this has to be a different stream. This cannot be that chill stream, that's for sure. And this is like the EDM channel. Whenever I hear this music, I always think of Key and Peele with Jordan Peele and Keegan Michael Key. That episode where he's like, "Have you heard of Skrillex?" And they put it on, their noses start to bleed. They're like throwing things all over the place, just don't know what to do with themselves. And speaking of that, I'm a big fan of his work. I really like his movies and how he tells stories. And of course, the show was hilarious. I love that show. He did such a great job with it all around. But he's coming out with a new movie called Nope. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm gonna watch that for sure. Yeah, so far I've seen pretty much all his films. If there were any fans of Jordan Peele and his movies, Post which movie you like the most. What was your favorite film that you did? He also, I believe he like co-producer, is the executive producer for a show. I have to remember actually. It's been a while since I saw it. And it was a mind-blowing show. I was like, oh my god, this is so true. Gonna look it up real quick. I know it's gonna bug me throughout this stream. I'm gonna be like, what was it called? There's a show called Hunters. It's on Amazon. Great show. That's all I gotta say about it. I suggest you guys do a little research, take a look and see what it's about. It is just mind-blowing. And he was a producer for that. He also did Twilight Zone, like the modern day version of it, that I really enjoyed as well.
She is. I know what she is. What she is.
Just noticed I gave him a very big chin. Perfect opportunity to change that.
What she is.
Something interesting that I've seen actually for comic book paper collections of artists or comic book artists, you were able to see how they were actually making color correction back then. And what they would do is, say if it really called for a lot of change, let's say it didn't come out well, what they would do is they would draw out the panel again and cut it out and paste it on top of the panel that they want to substitute with. And they would do the same thing for mistakes as well. So if there was like a mistake and it's a really big one, they would just cut out the correction and paste it on, or paste it over rather.
I know what she is.
And if it's like minor, they would just use whiteout or white and paint over it. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, they do make mistakes. Because I thought, this is when I was much younger. I thought once you get to that level, once you're working for these companies, you're so good, you don't need to erase at all. Like, you don't make any mistakes with pens. Alright, and this bad song actually made me look at the time. And unfortunately, ladies and gents, it has come to that time where I do have to cut the stream for the night. This is the last stream of the night. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place for now. And remember, I will be making a lot of announcements as far as times changes go, the schedule, some cool ways you guys can get involved in the stream as well. So make sure you tune back in tomorrow. I'm going to be doing it throughout all the streams, the afternoon stream and the evening stream as well. So you can't make it to one, you'll have an opportunity to catch up in the other. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. If you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. They both will help the stream keep going and grow. And I will see y'all tomorrow.